You're 17 and a half years old. You get a letter, not a request, a summons. You report to the recruitment center in Tel HaShomer. Fluorescent lights, concrete floors, hundreds of teenagers standing in lines that don't move. They test your eyes, your blood, your reflexes. They put you in a dark room with a psychologist who asks you questions that don't seem to have right answers. Then they test your mind. A psychometric exam, flight simulations, problems layered on top of problems designed to break your focus. They're not looking for the smartest kid. They're looking for the kid who stays calm when nothing makes sense. Most people wash out here. They never even see an airplane. But you pass. You're told to report to Hatzarim Air Base. It's in the Negev desert, south of Beersheva. Nothing around you but sand and heat and silence. You are now Turai, a private, the lowest rank in the Israeli Defense Forces. You own nothing here. You are nothing here. And the hardest 3 years of your life just started. Level 2, Rav Turai. The first 6 months are not about flying. They're about survival. You're thrown into infantry basic training. 8 weeks of running through desert terrain with a pack that feels like it's filled with concrete. You learn to shoot. You learn to navigate at night with nothing but a compass and a map that's already outdated. You don't touch a cockpit. You don't even talk about cockpits. They want to know if you can be a soldier first. Because a pilot who can't function on the ground is a pilot who panics in the air. Then comes academics. 6 weeks of aerodynamics, physics, meteorology, mathematics at a level that makes university look gentle. Then, finally, they hand you the controls of a Grob G120 trainer, a small, white propeller plane. You take your first flight. The desert tilts beneath you. The horizon bends. For 30 seconds, you forget everything. The exhaustion, the doubt, the friends who already got cut. Then the instructor barks a correction, and the moment is gone. You are Rav Turai now, corporal. Months in, and you still feel like you know nothing. Because you do. Level 3, Samal. The second phase is where people break. You're back on the ground again. Rescue courses, parachute training, survival exercises where they drop you into rough terrain with no supplies and tell you to find your way back. You earn your parachutist badge. You learn hand-to-hand combat. You learn what to do if you're captured behind enemy lines, an escape and evasion workshop that feels too real. The people who started this course with you, half of them are gone. Some failed the academics. Some couldn't handle the physical load. Some just quit at 2 a.m. on a Tuesday because they realized this wasn't the dream they thought it was. You keep going. You earn Samal, sergeant. And with it comes officer preparation. Because in the Israeli Air Force, every pilot is an officer. Every single one. You're being trained to lead before you're trained to fly anything that matters. And the thing nobody tells you? The uncertainty is the point. Every day is an evaluation. Every meal, every conversation, every decision. They're watching. You're never told if you're passing or failing. You just keep showing up. Level 4, Segan Mishnah. You don't reach this rank. Not here, not in the Air Force, because pilot course graduates skip it entirely. They receive the rank of Segan, first lieutenant, the moment they earn their wings. But you haven't earned them yet. You're in the intermediate phase now. This is where they decide what you'll fly. Fighters, helicopters, transport, navigation. You're tested on M346 Lavi jets if they think you have the reflexes for combat. Bell 206 helicopters if your instincts lean rotary. King Air B200 turboprops if they see a navigator in you. You don't choose, they choose. And some cadets, even this deep into the course, get cut. 2 years in, thousands of hours invested, and someone walks into a room and tells you it's over. The ones who survive this phase start flying the real machines. F-16s, F-15s, the aircraft that actually defend the country. You're not a pilot yet, but you're starting to feel like one. That's the most dangerous part, because the moment you feel confident, you make a mistake. Level 5, Segan. Graduation day, Hatzarim Air Base. Your family is in the stands. The Prime Minister might be there. Generals with oak leaves on their shoulders sit in the front row. Helicopters fly overhead in formation. Jets scream across the sky, trailing smoke. They pin silver wings to your chest. You are Segan, first lieutenant, a commissioned officer and a rated pilot in the Israeli Air Force. Out of every 9 people who started this course, One is standing where you're standing. You throw your cap in the air. Your mother cries. For one afternoon, the weight lifts. Then Monday comes. You report to your operational squadron, and you realize that 3 years of training was just the foundation. You now enter advanced operational training. Another full year, sometimes 2, before you're cleared for real missions. You fly sorties over the Mediterranean. You train for intercepts. You learn to operate at speeds and altitudes where a single wrong input kills you in under 2 seconds. You are 23 years old. You are responsible for a machine worth tens of millions of dollars. And you are 7 years away from the end of your mandatory service commitment. There is no leaving. Level 6, Sarin. 3 years as a lieutenant. Hundreds of flight hours logged. Operational missions completed. You are promoted to Sarin. Captain. This is where it changes. You stop being the new guy. You start being the one younger pilots look at for answers. You're a flight leader now. You plan missions. You brief teams. You debrief after operations and explain to a room full of people what went wrong and why. The pressure shifts from physical to mental. You fly at night over hostile territory. You carry precision munitions. Every target has coordinates, rules of engagement, collateral estimates. You make decisions in the cockpit that lawyers and politicians will review on the ground months later. You start to understand why the training was so brutal, not because they wanted to punish you, because they needed to know you wouldn't hesitate when it mattered. Some nights you land and sit in the cockpit for 10 extra minutes, not because something went wrong, because something went right, and you need a moment to process what that means. Nobody talks about this part, the quiet after the mission, but it's the part that stays with you. Level 7, Rav Sarin. You've been in the Air Force for nearly a decade. You're Rav Sarin, Major. And with the oak leaf on your shoulder comes a fork in the road. Path 1, you stay operational. You keep flying. You become a senior pilot, one of the best in the squadron, maybe the country. You push for the most complex missions, deep strikes, long-range operations, the kind that never make the news but reshape borders. Path 2, you move into command, squadron deputy, training oversight, strategy. You spend less time in the cockpit and more time in rooms with maps on walls and people with stars on their uniforms. Either way, the Air Force owns your life now. Your schedule, your sleep, your location. Your family learns to live around your absences. You've seen friends rotate out to civilian life. They fly for El Al. They start tech companies. They seem lighter. You stay. Not because you have to anymore. Your mandatory commitment ended years ago. You stay because you can't imagine anyone else sitting in your seat doing what you do. That's the hook, and it never lets go. Level 8, Scan Aloof. Promotion to Scan Aloof requires approval from a Major General and the Manpower Directorate. You don't apply for this rank. You're selected. You command a squadron now. Dozens of pilots, hundreds of support personnel, aircraft worth billions collectively. Every sortie, every maintenance call, every operational decision funnels through you. When a 22-year-old lieutenant makes a mistake at 30,000 feet, it's your name on the report. When a mission succeeds, the credit goes up the chain and the stress stays with you. You attend briefings with intelligence officers who show you satellite imagery of targets in countries you can't name publicly. You sign off on flight plans that cross sovereign airspace nobody is supposed to know you're in. The wait is no longer about flying. It's about sending other people to fly. And every time one of your pilots takes off, a small part of you holds its breath until they land. Level 9, Aloof Mishneh. This rank requires the personal approval of the Chief of Staff and the Defense Minister. You are now one of the most senior officers in the Israeli Air Force. You oversee entire air bases, multiple squadrons, strategic operations that connect to national defense policy. You sit in rooms with the heads of Mossad and Shin Bet. You're briefed on threats most citizens will never hear about. You contribute to plans that take months to develop and seconds to execute. When the IAF launches 200 jets in a single morning, you helped write the operational architecture behind that strike. Your name will never be in the papers. Your face will never be on camera. That's by design. You are a ghost who commands thunder. The loneliness at this level is different. It's not the loneliness of the desert barracks. It's the loneliness of knowing things you can't share with anyone outside the room. Your family sees a person in uniform. They don't see the decisions you carry home every night. Level 10, Tat Aloof, 1 star. You are a general officer. The air is thin up here. There are only a handful of people at this rank in the entire Air Force. You shape doctrine. You decide how the next generation of pilots will train, what aircraft will be procured, which alliances will be maintained. You visit the Pentagon. You sit across from American generals who treat you as an equal because the Israeli Air Force has a combat record that demands respect. You've flown thousands of hours, but you haven't flown operationally in years. The cockpit is a memory now. Your weapon is a briefing room. Your battlefield is a conference table. People call you by your rank, not your name. Younger officers stiffen when you walk into a room. You remember being the terrified Turai at Hatzarim, standing in the desert heat with sand in your boots. That kid would never believe where he ended up. Level 11, Aloof, Commander of the Air Force. This is the ceiling. Aloof, Major General, Commander of the Israeli Air Force. There is only one, and it's you. You report directly to the Chief of Staff. You advise the Prime Minister. You sit on the General Staff Forum, the highest military body in the country. Every aircraft, every pilot, every missile, every drone, every satellite, every decision in the air domain runs through your office. When a crisis erupts at 3 a.m., and it always erupts at 3 a.m., you're the first call. You carry the legacy of every commander before you. The ones who built this force from stolen civilian planes in 1948. The ones who launched Operation Focus and destroyed entire air forces before breakfast. The ones who struck nuclear reactors 1,000 miles away with 8 jets and 0 margin for error. You are the inheritor of all of it. And one day, maybe 2 years from now, maybe 4, you'll hand the silver wings of command to someone else. You'll walk out of Hatzarim for the last time. The jets will still take off. The cadets will still throw their caps. The Air Force doesn't stop for anyone. You drive home. The desert stretches behind you. The sky is impossibly wide. You started as a kid with a letter. You end as the person who decided what the sky would do.